Hi guys, it's Claire of Pursuing Life, and you are duct taped to a chair. Today I'm going to be making a whole bunch of videos, but it's going to start with this one. I am making pumpkin puree. Pumpkin is really good for you, and this is the time of year that you need to get them. I use them in sweet and savory dishes and just a whole bunch of stuff. Pumpkin's just great to have on hand. So I'm going to be cooking my own pumpkins, and you'll get to see how I put them up for food storage. Naturally, the first thing you're going to need is a pumpkin. This guy is a fairly small pumpkin, and this is what's considered a sweet pie pumpkin. They look like a regular pumpkin, but they're small and they have the bigger stem. So the first thing that we're going to do is cut it open. I've got my handy dandy knife right here, and most of the time I will try, because the stem's so big on these, I usually try to pop it off like that, and then it makes it easier to cut into. If the stem is smaller, I usually leave it on, but these guys, it's just hard to cut through. So slice right through it. Cut it directly in half. There we go. One pumpkin cut in half. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab a bowl to put the guts in. If you're like me and the people that I know, somebody will want those pumpkin seeds. And I'll do a quick little thing at the end of this on how I prepare those. But for now, we're just going to get them out of the way. Now that you're done pretty much fleshing your pumpkins and you're good and slimy, the next thing that you're going to want to do is, sorry, my rabbit is angry with me. You're going to want to put them on a cookie sheet face down, just like that. All right? You can grease it if you want to. I don't. And then you stick it in an oven just like this, at about 300 degrees for, I do it for an hour and a half or so. Just kind of stick it in there and forget it. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. Through the magic of television, I already have some that are done. They're still very hot from being in the oven. But this is a cheese pumpkin. This is a savory pumpkin and not one that you usually use to make pies, even though you probably could. This is what I use in savory dishes like my pumpkin and bacon filled ravioli with Alfredo sauce. So as you can see, the skin is all like leathery but brittle, and they're just mush. So what I'll do is I will take another bowl and a spoon, and I will just scrape the flesh out of the skin of these pumpkins, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. See, it's like stringy. That's just kind of how pumpkin flesh is, and that's why I prefer to have it pureed. This pumpkin, being savory and being that I'm going to use it for some recipes pretty soon, I'm going to go ahead and get it prepped in the blender. This is just a little blender. It's not fabulous, but it'll work. So I'm just going to scoop up some of my freshly fleshed pumpkin into there. This is going to be part of the filling for my pumpkin and bacon ravioli, and the rest of it's just going to get pureed plain and marked savory. I'm going to add to this a bit of red bell pepper, the roasted red bell pepper, because that's the flavor that I like in here, and some garlic powder, because I'm out of fresh garlic powder. You can put stock or bouillon or whatever you want in here. I just don't have any, so I'm going to be thinning it out with some water and just kind of pour a little bit in there, but mostly just have it on hand in case we need it. So, oh yeah, we're gonna need it. It's so easy to get this too watery, especially if you don't have a good blender like me and it needs some extra water to keep moving. It's so easy to get it too watery. If that happens when you go to use it, just try and cook it down some if you want. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful. It's not the perfect puree, but it's pretty close and it smells amazing. It's probably going to be a few days before I make my ravioli, and so I'll go ahead and show you what I do to store this. I dump it into just a regular sandwich bag, and this one will go in the refrigerator rather than the freezer, but it's the exact same principle in mind. You fill it up about halfway and burp it to get the air out and let it lay down flat. I usually pre-mark mine with a Sharpie and write what's on them, but this is just going in the refrigerator, so I will know. But just lay it down flat, and then when you get ready to use it, if you've frozen it, dip it in some hot water and it'll thaw almost immediately. There you go. Now what do you do with all of those leftover seeds? Well, I took mine, they were in the bowl, I dumped them into a strainer and washed and washed and washed and tried to get as much of the little bits of flesh and goo out. Like, you're not gonna get all of it 100% unless you're just obsessive, and I don't have time for that. So pick out what you can, a little bit cooking, it's not gonna hurt it. And then I put in a little bit of oil, just a little bit, enough to coat them. I'm gonna do, you can do sweet or savory. I'm doing savory this time. A little bit of garlic, some black pepper. I've got some smoked red chipotle pepper. Just a little dab will do you of that. And then I try to sneak turmeric into everything that I do, and this is no exception. So I'll put a sprinkling of that in there as well, maybe 2 sprinklings. So there's that. I'll give it a quick stir with my fork because all of my spoons have somehow gone the way of the dodo. And just get it as coated as you can. It's not rocket science, it's pumpkin seeds. Season these to taste. Make them how you want them and how you know that they're gonna get eaten. So there's that. And then I have a casserole dish right here. You can do a cookie sheet if you want. And dump these babies right on in there. I'm gonna stick them in while my other pumpkin is cooking. So that's gonna be about 300 degrees. And then I'm just gonna check them and stir them as I check and flip the pumpkin. And that's it. And now that I'm all sweaty and everything, you guys know how to process your own pumpkin. If you're gonna do a sweet pumpkin, like you'd use for a pumpkin pie filling, go ahead and check out the recipe. Chances are all of those ingredients will freeze in bags just like that. And all you have to do when you're setting it up like that is scoop out however much you're gonna use when you make pumpkin pies this fall. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.